Do you ever find yourself trapped in the throes of worry and anxiety, convinced it's impossible to create anything new? This question, perhaps, rings familiar to many of us. Worry and anxiety are universal human experiences, emotions that are as common as the rising and setting of the sun. You see, worry is often born from the fear of uncertainty, the unease that comes from not knowing what lies ahead. We worry about the things we cannot control, the future we cannot predict. It's a burden that can weigh heavily on our minds, clouding our thoughts and stifling our creativity. Meanwhile, anxiety, a close companion of worry, is a feeling of unease, such as a worry or fear, that can be mild or severe. It often accompanies us when we step outside our comfort zones, when we venture into the unknown. Its icy grip can paralyze us, making it seem as though we're stuck in a never-ending cycle of fear and apprehension. These feelings, as powerful and overwhelming as they may be, can often feel like insurmountable barriers. They can prevent us from reaching our full potential, from unlocking the boundless creativity that lies within each of us. It's as if we're standing at the edge of a cliff, staring down into a chasm of uncertainty and doubt, convinced that it's impossible to cross. But here's the thing about worry and anxiety. They are not the end of the story. They are not the final chapter in our book of life. Rather, they are merely obstacles, hurdles that we must overcome on our journey to self-discovery and growth. And so, we find ourselves at a crossroads. We can either let worry and anxiety control us, dictating our actions and limiting our potential, or we can choose to rise above them, to use them as stepping stones towards greater things. But what if we told you that worry and anxiety are not the end of the story? In fact, they can be the beginning of something entirely new. Consider the story of Anna, a woman tormented by worry and anxiety, yet she found a way to turn her fears into fuel for creativity. Anna had always been a worrier. She had a head full of what-ifs and a heart full of dread. The world felt like a minefield, and every step she took seemed fraught with potential disaster. But here's where Anna's story takes a turn. Instead of letting her worry consume her, she decided to channel it. The very thing that had been her greatest burden became her greatest asset. She started a blog, sharing her experiences and strategies for managing anxiety. Her posts were raw, honest, and deeply resonant. People all over the world began to connect with her words. They saw themselves in her struggles and found solace in her solutions. With every blog post, Anna's confidence grew. She started to see her anxiety not as a weakness but as a strength. It gave her a unique perspective, a voice that needed to be heard. So, she decided to take it a step further. She launched an online business, offering webinars and coaching sessions for others dealing with anxiety. Her business took off, transforming her life in ways she could never have imagined. Anna's story isn't just about overcoming anxiety, though. It's about the power of transformation. It's about taking something that feels like a roadblock and turning it into a stepping stone. It's about reframing your perspective and finding the silver lining in even the darkest of clouds. Anna's journey wasn't easy. There were days when the worry threatened to swallow her whole, but she kept going, kept creating, kept transforming. And in the process, she found a sense of purpose and fulfillment that she had never known before. So, you see, Anna's story shows us that even in the face of worry and anxiety, we can still create something new and beautiful. It's not about ignoring the fear. It's about harnessing it, using it as a catalyst for change. It's about turning the thing that holds you back into the thing that propels you forward. And most importantly, it's about understanding that no obstacle is too great to overcome. Now, let's turn our attention to another remarkable individual, James, who discovered new worlds with conviction and courage, not worry and anxiety. James was just an ordinary person like you and me. He had dreams, ambitions, but like many of us, he also had worries and anxieties. They would often keep him up at night, making him question his abilities, his path, his choices. But what set James apart was his unwavering conviction and courage. James believed in himself, in his dreams, and in his journey. He had the conviction that he could do it, that he could make a difference, that he could bring his dreams to life. This conviction wasn't born overnight. It was a flame kindled and nurtured over time, through countless trials and tribulations. But conviction alone wasn't enough. James also had courage. He had the courage to face his fears, to confront his anxieties, to challenge his worries. He didn't let them hold him back. Instead, he used them as stepping stones, turning them into fuel for his journey. Courage allowed James to take risks, to venture into the unknown, to tread paths that others dared not. It was his courage that led him to new discoveries, to new worlds. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he wasn't afraid to find out. He embraced the uncertainty, the challenges, the risks, knowing that they were part and parcel of his journey of discovery. And what a journey it was! James discovered new worlds, new perspectives, new opportunities. He created, he innovated, he transformed. And he did it all not with worry and anxiety, but with conviction and courage. James's story serves as a powerful testament to the transformative power of conviction and courage. It shows us that worry and anxiety can be overcome, that they don't have to hold us back, that they don't have to define us. As James's story demonstrates, conviction and courage rather than worry and anxiety are the true keys to discovery and creation. So, what can we take away from the stories of Anna and James? Through their experiences, Anna and James have taught us some truly invaluable lessons. Their stories, though unique, share a common theme: the transformative power of worry and anxiety. Rather than letting these feelings paralyze them, they used them as fuel to ignite their creativity, to push their boundaries, and to ultimately achieve their goals. In the story of Anna, we saw how worry and anxiety initially held her back. She was afraid to take risks, to step out of her comfort zone, but she realized that these feelings were not insurmountable obstacles. Instead, they were catalysts that propelled her forward. Anna harnessed her worry and anxiety, turning them into a driving force that led her to create something truly remarkable. Similarly, James showed us that conviction and courage are essential when facing worry and anxiety. His story is a testament to the power of these attributes. Despite the anxiety he felt, James was able to press on, driven by his unwavering conviction and bolstered by his courage. He didn't let his worries deter him. Instead, he used them as stepping stones, taking him closer to his goal. These stories remind us that worry and anxiety are not our enemies. They are not barriers that stand in our way, preventing us from creating or discovering. Rather, they are powerful forces that, if harnessed correctly, can lead us to incredible achievements. But remember, it's not just about harnessing these feelings. It's about having the conviction to believe in our abilities and the courage to act despite our worries. It's about recognizing that worry and anxiety are part of the human experience, and that it's possible to use them in a positive, productive way. Remember, worry and anxiety are not barriers to creation and discovery, but catalysts. It is our conviction and courage that truly allow us to create and discover. So the next time you find yourself plagued by worry and anxiety, remember Anna and James. You see, even in the face of their seemingly insurmountable challenges, they did not let worry and anxiety become their shackles. Instead, they used them as the fuel to ignite their creation. They harnessed the power of conviction and courage, proving that these are the true catalysts for overcoming obstacles and propelling forward. Anna, who was once paralyzed by worry, managed to turn her anxieties into a driving force for her creativity. Her worries, instead of blocking her way, became stepping stones, leading to her success. She discovered that it was not the absence of worry that led to her breakthroughs, but her courage to face them head-on. Then there was James, who faced his anxieties with unprecedented bravery. He didn't allow his worries to cloud his vision. Instead, he used them as a magnifying glass, focusing on his goals with laser-like precision. His conviction, unyielding and robust, led him to new heights, proving that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Both Anna and James serve as shining examples that worry and anxiety, while often perceived as hindrances, can be harnessed and transformed into powerful tools for creation. It is not about eliminating these emotions, but about understanding them, embracing them, and using them as stepping stones toward success. So let's take a page from Anna and James's book. Let's turn our worries and anxieties into fuel for our creative fires. Let's harness our conviction and courage to break through the barriers of our fears. Let's transform our obstacles into opportunities, and let's create something new, something meaningful, something extraordinary. And always remember, no one has been able to create anything new with worry and anxiety till today. Humans have discovered new worlds with conviction and courage.